Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trimmed with purple and weighing in at 117.5 pounds. An outstanding record consisting of 40 victories in 42 professional bouts, including 27 knockouts with only 2 losses. From our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the former 2-time world champion, Mark Too Sharp Johnson. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trimmed with gold letters, he officially weighed in at 117.5 pounds also, and his professional record stands at 26 victories in 29 bouts, including 24 knockouts with 3 defeats. De Ciudad de Mexico, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, Rafael Marquez.
Let's go. Here we go. Come on. Okay, you already received your instructions. I'll receive your instrucciones. Be careful with your head. Cuidado con sus cabezas. Right here is good. Anything below that is going to be low. Aquí está bien. Aquí no. Right here is good. Anything below that is going to be low. Aquí está bien. Aquí no. Keep everything above the waist. Dedos en todo para arriba. I want a good, clean fight. Yo quiero uno play limpia. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Escúchame, cuídate. Ready? Listo? Ready? Let's go. Vámonos.
The stakes are high for these fighters. The winner will be declared a mandatory challenger for bantamweight champion Tim Austin, supposedly to meet later this year. Just a minor correction, Emmanuel. Now I hear he said that Johnson claims to have beaten Tim Austin 2 times in their 2 fights as amateurs.
Well, he's never lost to him, that's for sure. That's what he said.
We'll get Austin's side of the story some other time.
Yeah, amateur boxing and professional boxing is different.
Mark Too Sharp Johnson looking to see if his skills are too sharp. This is the 4th bout of his comeback. He had a 19-month layoff. He spent the better part of the year 2000 in jail for violating parole.
Well, I can see right away that he's intended to try to go for a decision this time. He's intended to try to outbox Marquez instead of going for the knockout as he did in the last fight. Yes. You notice he's maintaining a distance this time, whereas the first time he was getting very close, which was playing into Marquez's game, but he's keeping his distance this time.
Well, Johnson talked to us yesterday about the fact that he did not know that Marquez was so physically strong until he got him inside the ring.
Marquez is also very difficult to hit clean, and he has a good jab of his own, which is unusual. I think his hand speed is surprising, at least to me. When he fought the first fight, I was very surprised.
Johnson, of course, the southpaw. Marquez fights out of the conventional stance.
And I can see that Marquez has been training very well in preparing to fight a southpaw. He's doing everything properly. He's parrying Johnson's jab with his left hand and still in a position where he can counter with that same left hand. It's just what he did just there.
Both fighters feeling their way here in the first round.
I can tell that Johnson came in intended to box and handled him at a distance, but he's probably becoming aware of the fact that that's not working. Marquez is showing surprisingly good boxing skills in this fight, and may have the edge in the boxing right now.
When we head into the corner of Rafael Marquez, Ray Torres will do the interpreting for us this evening.
You got to be live. He's closing the distance for you. You got to throw more than one punch, 2 or 3 punches. Don't let him win in that aspect. Make sure you throw punches. Are you fine? Is everything okay?
Okay, but you're doing beautiful. Give me a towel. Wait a minute, towel. No, give me a towel. Give me a towel. Go. Let's come out low. Come out low, man. Keep ready with your fake before you go. Beautiful. Beautiful first one.
Go seconds out.
What happens right here is what happens often when you have a southpaw and a right-hander fighting. Often they get their legs crossed because their 2 lead legs come together at the same time.
Nana, you talked about the distance between both fighters in the early going. Johnson told us yesterday in the first fight that initially he didn't respect Marquez's punching power ability, so he went in close in the first fight and possibly tired himself out in the later rounds, and he also got caught in the later rounds with a lot of shots.
Yeah, he tried to go for the knockout because he was hitting him fairly easy, and he thought that he would have knocked him out since he hadn't heard anything about him. But this particular fight, it's interesting. There's more boxing, but Marquez is holding his own in the boxing department, and I know later on the fight's going to get pretty hectic when both guys realize that they have not established a confident lead. In addition to the booing from the crowd.
The crowd getting antsy early on here at Mandalay Bay.
Too Sharp fought the first fight like a hammer, and he's trying to fight this one like a knife. It isn't working.
Quick counter by Marquez.
Yeah, Marquez is sitting, waiting for him to come in and let him take that little slight step back and shoot the right-hand counter, much like Antonio Barrera does a lot when he fights southpaws.
Marquez opens up, blows to the body.
Marquez is very sharp, and he's landing a lot of punches. That was that counter jab again. He's landing uppercuts a lot, too. A little short punches from underneath, which is interesting. I never saw him do that before.
The other thing that was impressive about Marquez's counter jab came over the top.
Yes, he's working perfectly. He's using his left-handed to counter, or to pick his punches off and to counter at the same time. He's actually fighting more of a counter-punching fight and being effective at it at this stage.
Mark Too Sharp Johnson showing Rafael Marquez quite a bit of respect.
Out. Oh, hey, don't do that. Okay, listen to my thing. Okay, a little bit. Okay.
Don't miss these upcoming HBO sports shows. Monday night at 10 p.m., catch the next installment of Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. Check out the raging debate over whether dodgeball should be banned from our schools. March 9, Boxing After Dark returns with a lightweight title fight featuring champion Paul Spadafora against the always tough Angel Man Freddy. March 23, Prince Nassim Hamed makes his return to the ring, taking on Manuel Calvo in a featherweight bout Also that night, fan favorite and former world champion Johnny Tapia, who's in attendance tonight, takes on hard-punching Angel Vasquez. And On the Record with Bob Costas returns for its second season, March 28th, featuring another collection of superstar athletes in Hollywood's elite. Big names, bold questions. Bob's back, only on HBO.
Johnson said that this fight would tell him whether he's a young 30 or an old 30. He is not proving that he's a young 30 yet.
You know, and it's interesting. Marquez is doing something similar to Antonio Barrera. Like he's improved a lot more going into this fight as compared to the last fight, and more in the boxing area, not so much in slugging. He's working very effective with his left jab, in addition to having a little right uppercut that he's shooting at.
CompuBox punched at numbers through 2 rounds. Johnson threw 95 punches, but he only landed on 15 for a connection percentage of 16. Marquez, 21 of 63 for 33%, 16%. Not going to get it done.
No.
So far, this has been a good reason not to have a rematch.
A lot of respect for each other. I'm just hoping that the fight is close as it is, even though maybe a little slight edge may be to Marquez, but sometimes Johnson gets caught up in the heat of the battle and gets emotionally and commits fouls, and I think that possibly could be a factor, much as it was in the last fight, which cost him his decision.
Well, the first fight certainly heated up at about rounds 4, 5, and 6. So we'll see if the second fight takes the same pattern.
But even at this stage, Johnson was throwing a lot of punches because he was so confident the last fight that he never had to respect that he's showing today.
Yeah, but what happened then, of course, was he was a very tired horse coming down the stretch.
That's correct.
So maybe he is trying to pace himself here, but he might pace himself out of the fight.
He's pacing himself, but taking the risk of possibly getting behind on points. It's okay when you're pacing yourself and you know you're comfortably winning, so you're saving it. But at this stage here, he has not been able to establish any clear dominance.
Looping right hand from Rafael Marquez.
Marquez has shown a lot of different things in this fight. He's showed a very good sharp left jab over the shoulder, much like he just landed there. He's shown a right uppercut, and now he's added a looping right hand over top. He's doing a variety of things.
Marquez getting busier here. And Johnson fires back with a counter right hand to the head.
That right hand shook Marquez. Best punch of the fight.
Estás dejando un poquito los golpes, no los sueltes, lávalo y no los sueltes. Ya es el tercero, este es el cuarto.
Okay, the 4th round's coming up. Now we got to start the fighting. You need to start fighting. You got to throw the body. Come on. When he jabs you, yeah, you make sure you count it at right jab that he has.
La garganta que está bien y no te quedes.
It's coming down too low. Keep it up. Okay. All right? The jab had it coming back too low. You're doing good. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about the crowd.
The right hook that Johnson landed right there was the most effective punch for him in the first fight, and you may see him throwing more of those as the fight progresses. He was very effective with the right hook in the first fight.
If Marquez follows his corner's instructions and starts to try to make a brawl of it, then we'll see how sharp too sharp can be.
How tough it can be, head sharp.
All right, let's bring in Harold Letterman to see how he has the fight scored through 3.
Okay, Fred, not much of an action fight. 29-28, 2 rounds to 1. Muck Too Sharp Johnson. I thought he won the first round, very, very close round using the right jab. Round 3, I gave him mostly on the basis of that tremendous right hook. that he landed late. The second round, I thought Marquez outpunched him. But you know, Fran, the key to this fight, as I see it so far, is Mark Johnson circles. And he circles to the left. He's trying to square up in front of Marquez. And I'll tell you, it's the wrong way. He's actually moving into the right hand to Rafael Marquez, and Marquez is going to nail him with it. Watch.
I have it 2-1 in favor of Marquez.
Which means we have a good fight.
No, I don't mean it means we have a close fight. There is a difference.
It's going to get warmed up, believe me. I can see it happening. The difference is sometimes you watch Marquez, it looks like he's hurt because he's a little bit clumsy on his feet at times and gets his legs crossed, whereas Johnson seems to maintain much better balance.
Hard shots to the body by Rafael Marquez. This is his first rematch of his career. He talked to us yesterday about knowing he's not as fast as Johnson, so he said he really worked on his hand speed in camp. Can you improve your hand speed that much, Emmanuel?
I think you can, particularly if you have good sparring partners that are fast. It's the best theory it is having someone. Jimmy Ellis used to be Muhammad Ali's best sparring partner when Ali was in his prime, mainly because of speed. In fact, when Ali couldn't fight, Jimmy Ellis, his sparring partner, went on to win the heavyweight championship of the world.
Johnson now coming through with the right uppercut, firing off left hooks. Action starting to pick up here in the fourth. Johnson was off balance there.
And Johnson is starting to get busier now. I think he's realizing that he hasn't established the kind of lead that he wanted to feel comfortable about, so he's becoming much busier now.
Rafael Marquez planting both feet, standing right in there in the middle. As the two trade big shots here to end the fourth round.
This is the beginning of what's going to be happening later on.
CompuBox numbers a little bit closer here in the fourth round. Johnson 14 of 52 for 27%. Marquez 17 of 46, 37%.
Both fighters are going to be busier now because they're trying to make sure that they get a lead, because I think both guys are concerned. And Johnson is looking seemingly to try to land that straight left right through the center. And Marquez is going to have to pick up the pace a little bit more himself.
Johnson lunges in with the right hook to the body. The difference, Mark Johnson says, between the first fight and this fight, he said physically he was prepared for the first fight, but mentally he was not. He was in the midst of going through a divorce. He says this time around he is focused both physically and mentally. Also coming off the first loss in over 11 years in his career. That could have a mental effect as well. Tony Weeks warning Rafael Marquez, keep the shots up.
Take your time, man. 5. Okay, Johnson, I don't want you to retaliate, all right? Okay. Stay right here. Okay.
You may have heard
the referee,
Tony Weeks say to Johnson, I don't want to see you retaliate.
Ready? Okay, let's go. Time in. Let's go.
Let's see if he retaliates.
Clean fight.
I'd like to see somebody retaliate for something.
Johnson gets caught by a right hand from Marquez. Sharp Johnson.
Marquez is starting to find his target with that straight short right hand through the center.
Johnson looking for spots to get inside. Marquez not backing away. White's picking up.
Let him go.
Good edge. Watch that body. 2 and 3 there.
Body shot hurt him, Champ, at the end.
Leave his here.
Let's go, seconds out.
Johnson owns 2 hair salons and a barber shop. So far, this fight is like watching hair grow.
Marquez's corner would like to see more action, more punches thrown. Though Marquez did pretty good in the power punch department that last round, 15
That's
20.
That's the counter right hand.
Big counter right hand to the head of Johnson.
Both fighters started boxing at an early age. I think Marquez started when he was 6 years old because his father was a former flyweight champion in Mexico. And I've been knowing Mark all of his life. His whole family's been into boxing. His father and mother. In fact, ever since he was 2 years old, I've known him. So he's been boxing all of his life.
Marquez working on his counter material. Catches Johnson coming in with a left hand.
Stop. Let him go. Come on.
Fight's close, Manny. What would you like to see Johnson do to become more active?
I think he's going to have to be busier than that because he's sitting and for the most part his timing is just a hair off. It's not that far off, but it's just enough where Marquez is starting to penetrate him, particularly with those straight punches.
Marquez busting through the defense right there.
I would like to see Mark start moving on his feet more, boxing with angles. He's boxing, but he's not really using his feet, so to say. So it's just in front of the guy fighting. And if the fight continues as the pattern is set falling into, it's going to favor Marquez going down the stretch.
Shots of the fight thrown here in the 6th round.
And they're very short, sharp punches, too. I'd like to see Mark box more using his feet. We need to change around, give him more angles.
This is the first round of the fight where either fighter has been dominant. That fighter has been Marquez.
Don't go to the ropes now. Stay away from the ropes.
Ahí en el centro del ring.
In the center of the ring. That's where you need to be. But it's easy if you get in there. You got to throw your punches. Please listen to me.
Tiras la combinación que sea.
You're winning the fight. Keep boxing. Don't make it cold. Don't stand there bang with the boy. Because you're loading up again and you ain't going here and taking it under. You doing this shit. Let's take it and take it under. Box the man. Everything right here. And keep your hands moving. Keep your hands moving. Put him out, please. Well, you ain't got to get brave. Don't get brave.
Ham Johnson, father and trainer of Too Sharp Johnson, telling him not to get brave.
Let's bring in Harold Lutterman to see how he has a fight score through 6.
Okay, Fred, 58-56, 4 rounds to 2, Mark Too Sharp Johnson. Fred, I got to tell you, it's like the first fight. Mark Johnson gets so fast. Marquez did very, very little in the early rounds of the first fight. Same thing here. And in round 6, all of a sudden, he starts, he picks up the pace, and he mugged him. And I got to tell you, it looks like he's taking control of this fight. So 4-2. 58-56 Johnson, but the momentum is all with Marquez.
I have the fight even.
Rafael Marquez, the brother of the more popular, more well-known Juan Manuel Marquez, comes in at 26-3, 24 wins by knockout, all 3 of his losses coming by knockout as well. Show you how tough this kid is in his pro debut. He took on Victor Rabanales. Rabanales, a former bantamweight champ. Rabanales was fighting his 56th fight.
Stop.
I don't know if that was brave or dumb management.
It was a sink.
He probably didn't have a choice.
That was sinker. That's a sink or swim school of boxing.
Let's see what you got off the bat.
Marquez trying to size up Johnson. Loves to punch down, loves to come over the top.
Stop. Here we go. Come to me. You all right? Come to me. You okay?
He's doing something good by moving around, trying to get his legs back active again, get the circulation.
Round's almost over.
His experience and his southpaw movement back and forth at different angles is what got him through that.
Johnson survives.
He looked like a very old 30 in that round.
I got him. Give me water. Your hands down. How many fingers I got? You want me to stop it? You move back with your hands down. Keep your hands up. You okay? You sure? You keep your goddamn hands up. Hold on, man. How you feel?
The right hand that Marquez knocked him down with is the right hand that he's been concentrating on all night. I mean, you can see he's been totally focusing a lot on that straight, short right hand. And he did something very beautiful. He shot a jab to the body and then shot the right hand on the chin. And Mark never even saw it.
Come on, watch the ice. Let's go.
Mark Johnson has had a terrific career, mostly in the small world of boxing, not too well known outside of boxing. And he's on the verge, perhaps, of seeing that career end. He himself said if he loses this fight, there's no money out there for him to make. and he would seriously consider retirement.
He spent a great time, a bit of a time in the interview yesterday, speaking of possible retirement, which was, to me, unusual.
Yeah, there's an old saying, when you talk about retirement, you're retired.
Yes. It's on your mind.
Johnson told us, big paydays aren't worth it if I can't count the money.
Marquez is doing so many different things in this fight compared to the first. He's jabbing, he's actually counter-punching, he's shooting right uppercuts, but seemingly his head punches that little straight, sharp right hand through the center.
You know, for Marquez, that first fight was a kind of breakthrough fight. He had always considered himself inferior to his brother, lesser known than his brother. He was a top featherweight prospect, and now at one of the higher ranking featherweights. And that was a breakthrough, and he thinks now that he can be a fighter, and he's been fighting in a very positive, confident way right from the start.
You're very right, Larry. He said that in the interview yesterday, and seemingly he did a lot of work in between the last fight to try to attain that also. And he's got a good brother for a sparring partner, which he's tried to be sparring with all of his life.
See the confidence growing. Rafael Marquez catches Johnson with a big left hook to the body, and Johnson goes down. 5, 6.
I see the look in Johnson's eye that I saw in Alexis Aguero, the second fight when he fought Aaron Pryor. And is this worth it?
It'll be another test of survival here for Mark Too Sharp Johnson. Late in the 8th round, Marquez connects with a right hand. Tony Weeks wins it all. Stunning developments. Mark Too Sharp Johnson knocked down 3 times by Rafael Marquez in their bantamweight rematch. The bout being stopped in the 8th round at the 2-minute, 41-second mark.
Mark Johnson, a fighter who never got all the credit he deserved because he fought in the lower weight divisions where very few American fighters have ever been popular. And now it looks like he's reached the end. Fortunately, he says he has a number of businesses that give him an income and that he can afford to retire.
Do you think he had to go to attack more this time? What's the difference in strategy? Strategy or what?
Marquez told us in the first bout, even though Johnson threw a lot of punches, he didn't feel much power.
Marquez is doing so many different things in this fight, and it was very difficult for Johnson to keep up with him. The combination there was 2 body shots, 2 different angles, and then a right hand over the top, but right hand didn't even really matter.
Yeah, and he went down in a delayed way, sort of like a parachute that opened after he had jumped out of the plane.
He was gone. I think the body punch from the first knockdown, it never recuperated.
That left hook.
Yeah. Marquez is a much improved fighter. The smaller division is getting to be a red hot division now. We got Tapia, Ahmed. Now we have a newcomer. Barrera.
All right, let's send it into Michael Buffer now for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Tony Weeks waves off the 10 count and calls a halt to the bout. The official time, 2 minutes, 41 seconds of round number 8. The winner by knockout victory. He is now the USBA Bantamweight champion, de Ciudad de Mexico, Rafael Marquez.
So Rafael Marquez knocks out Mark Too Sharp Johnson in the 8th round. Let's take a look at the final punch stat numbers. Marquez almost doubling his output in landed punches, throwing 413 to 389 for Johnson and landing at a 38% clip. Let's take a look at the power punches here, though. The power definitely improved for Marquez in the latter rounds, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th rounds, 109 out of 253. Johnson connected at 53%, but it was Marquez who landed the more powerful blows. All right, Larry, let's talk about Rafael Marquez. What kind of future do you think he has in the bantamweight division?
Well, he's got a future to look ahead to a fight with Tim Austin, who's recognized as the bantamweight champion of the world. He's got the kind of style, and now we're seeing the kind of skills to go with it, that shapes up as a good, tough fight.
And Manny, Mark Too Sharp Johnson, you mentioned it when he spoke to us yesterday. He talked a lot about retirement, about the businesses that he already has set up. What does this mean for Mark Too Sharp Johnson?
Well, without a doubt, Mark Too Sharp Johnson is going to quit boxing. That was just about guaranteed. The fact I was trying to drift him out of that conversation yesterday during the interview. I think he lost the fight tonight, but he didn't look that bad. It's just that he fought a very good fighter who came in very well prepared and did so many different things. And he was just totally, he was having problems even outboxing Marquez. Marquez was very sharp and ready for this fight. And I think you're going to see a lot more of him improving, much like Burrell.
Okay, so the action started off slowly, but it certainly picked up, and it picked up big time in favor of Rafael Marquez. Still to come, though, our main event. Another rematch. 122 pounds, Paulie Ayala looks to make it 2 wins in a row over Clarence Bones Adams. That's coming up. Let's take a look at some highlights of the first time these two met back in August of last year. And in the second round, it was that left hook to the chin from Paulie Ayala that caught Bones Adams, and Adams desperately tried to hang on. Ayala coming back with more in the second round. All 3 judges scored it a 10-8 round. But Adams was able to stabilize himself, throwing hard shots, but also doing more boxing, moving around the ring. Intense action all the way through. In the 11th, a headbutt, though, from Paulie Ayala opens up a big gash over the left eye of Bones Adams. But Adams wouldn't surrender. And in the 12th round, it was all Bones Adams. Paulie Ayala's corner told him he had won the fight. Adams doing everything he can, winning 10-9 on all 3 judges' scorecards, but it was Ayala taking the close split decision. Paulie Ayala is no stranger to close decisions. His last 6 fights have gone the full 12 championship rounds, and each time it's been Ayala who's come out victorious. Now, he says he doesn't get enough credit for his defense. He says he blocks most of those shots, but opponents say they scream of favoritism, and Bones Adams, Emmanuel, is one of those opponents who screams of favoritism. Bones came into the last fight deciding to be a puncher and not his normal boxing self. He thought he won the fight. Many people believe he did win the fight. Should he change anything tonight?
Well, first to go to his favoritism, he said the reason that he's also being persecuted so much is a lot because he's a white boy. It's a minority in boxing today, in particular, the fact that the Hispanics are getting such ratings on TV, so he's endangered special, so to say. But I think that he will come in and try to box more tonight. I think that Bones is going to try to change up, and he may not do much better than Johnson did when Johnson tried to box tonight. I think that Ayala is going to come in and put a lot of pressure on him with those sort of short punches, trying to crowd him. And Bones is going to have to punch a little bit. He's going to have to do what he did to some degree the last fight. One of the big